I'm Federal Agent Dan Ford, and today is the longest day of my life.
The following takes place between midnight and the following midnight, somewhere nearest the day of the California presidential primary. Events occur and edited for YouTube time.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you procrastination is bad. You already know that. All you need to know is that I'm a pro procrastinator. And trust me,
You do not want to go down this road with me.
for the past 24 hours, I've been in combat with this age-old foe, using skill, strength, brain juice, and predominantly internet research to find out once and for all, can procrastination be stopped? I've broken these tests into 4 parts: prep, place, practical, and parent. All begin with P to make them sound more punchy. And in a poor attempt at entertainment, I am parodying the crime drama series 24. So, here is the Punch Procrastination and the Pair of Pupils plan in 4 parts. But before we start, there's something you should know. I've never watched 24. So, let's do this. If you've watched this far, it could mean that you're using this very video to put off something that you should be doing.
And I don't need another reason to put a bullet in your brain.
But that's illegal, so let's put some information in your brain instead.
Holy American hot dogs! What the hell is that? It's a dirty bomb, and it's rigged to explode in 24. Good thing you packed your bomb-stopping equipment. Hey, Jack Bauer. Oh no! Now 1 million people are gonna get all blown up! If only you'd prepared the night before.
Preparation. I've broken this down into 3 smaller little pieces: setting goals, prepping the day before, picturing your day. So let's look at the first one. Setting goals. Normally with this means like we make lists, we do a timeline or deadlines and put it into smaller chunks. But have you ever thought about when the best time of the day to do something is? Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman talks about productivity in relation to optimal times of the day. Have a look-see at this.
The other things I think can be very useful is to think about this 3-phase view of states, both in sleep and awake, that, from 0 to 8 or 9 hours after waking, that's going to be high energy, high output, high adrenaline, just naturally high cortisol. So linear type of operations that people always say, what's your morning routine? Do you do the most difficult thing early in the day? Not necessarily. Sometimes I do the most boring, terrible thing in the day, which for me would be like an Excel spreadsheet. For me is just, I'd rather get hives than do an Excel spreadsheet. But the most difficult thing might be the creative work, which would fall, or brainstorming work, or where it's what we would call non-linear type thing, taking existing elements but arranging them in new ways. Probably best done for most people in the second phase of the day. And then of course, from 17 to 24 hours after waking, you want to be asleep.
So as a group, maybe we share certain similarities and certain patterns, but as individuals, maybe our optimums are different. So ask yourself, are you more productive in the morning or in the evening? Should you group practical tasks together so you get them done at the same time and reflective tasks at a different time? Do you get the horrible jobs out of the way first because they might take up more of your energy? Or do you intersperse the practical tasks so that you aren't sitting around all day? Let's talk about the second thing, prepping the day before. Maybe an example of this is getting your food ready, your breakfast, lunch and your dinner already prepared, so all you have to do is grab it, heat it up or whatever and eat it. The other thing maybe is something like your clothing. Get your clothing set up so you wake up in the morning, you pop your clothes on and you're ready. The reason for this is just to reduce your daily decision making, because when you start to make decisions about things, maybe that's the point where you start to procrastinate. And also in terms of something like going for food, you might be in a really good workflow at that point. So having food at that point and spending a lot of time doing that might interrupt your kind of optimal energy, whatever you've built up in that time. Also, you could prepare your lists and everything, your whole workspace, so that when you get here, everything's ready to go. You've got no excuses to do some cleaning here and then that turns into cleaning over there, and then in the end you're just cleaning the whole house and losing your mind, which I've not done that before. And lastly, picture your day. Maybe the night before you could go to bed, put on some meditation, have a think about what you're going to do the next day. It could be a meditation or a hypnosis or a reinforced clarifying your goals kind of exercise, or even a visualization technique. And who best to hear about the effectiveness of visualization techniques than the most decorated Olympian of all time, Michel Flaleps?
When I would visualize, I visualize every single, getting up to a meet, I would visualize probably a month or so in advance, just of what could happen, what I want to happen, and what I don't want to happen. Because when it happened, I was prepared for it.
Good thing you packed your bomb-stopping equipment. Hey, Jack Bauer. Yeah, that Taco Bell, it didn't explode. Now 1 million people will survive. Yeah, come on. Oh yeah.
Congratulations, you've passed part 1. Now, on to part 2. Place.
You probably don't think I can force this part down your throat, do you? But I can. All the way.
So let's talk a little bit about the place that you work, your environment. In the study of habit formation, whatever makes it harder to achieve something is referred to as friction. Now, friction is something we'll definitely examine more in another video, but it is essentially that thing that prevents you from moving quickly towards your goal. By reducing friction, we can be more productive. Reducing friction means essentially removing an obstacle, making something easier to do. It might be that, a calendar or some organizational tool will help you do that, some automated system, for example. It refers again to the things we talked to you about before, which was prepping the space already so you don't have to go and clean it again. That would be a kind of a friction, is having to move obstacles literally out of your way. In the same way that you can remove obstacles, you can kind of add friction to things that prevent you from working efficiently. So maybe you're someone that likes to go and have crisps and snack and constantly getting up and down to have tea. You could literally put barriers in front of you or in front of those things to increase the friction, increase that block, that obstacle, so that you don't go off and do something that you're not supposed to be doing. You may even want to consider literally hiring someone who is in the house at all times, ready to attack you every time you go and procrastinate. It might work. The other thing in terms of place and your environment is maybe consider having something on the wall that motivates you or keeps you on task, or having a playlist, some kind of ambient music, lo-fi or classical or something like that, just keeps me a little more focused on the task. Although occasionally, maybe depending on the song, depending on what I'm listening to, it can fluctuate, as sort of exampled here by what would my running or jogging would look like when I'm listening to music and I'm running. You know, maybe I'm starting off constant, steady, and then a good song comes on and I'm really running, and then a long, boring song comes on and I'm all the way down here, and then I come back here and then I see a dog I like, and I don't move for a bit, and then I freak out and panic at the end and try and get to the finish line. But, you know, it can work. Obviously, some people don't want any sound at all.
Make a sound and I'll blow your brains out all over the windshield.
You still there? Okay, cool. On to part 3.
Jack Bauer, we have to escape out of here. Go and find the evil boss and stop the dirty bombs.
It's too much. I just can't. Dr. Pepper, Diet Coca-Cola, Nike, just do it anymore.
Oh no! You're our only hope! Now 100 trillion billion people are gonna exploderize all over the place. What a mess!
Part 3. Practical. First, talk about small steps. So, when interviewed, some Navy SEALs said that one of the ways they would get through training and the infamous Hell Week was to break down each test into smaller, achievable parts. So, I haven't done any research specifically about this, but I'd imagine they were probably asked to eat like a giant Brussels sprout. And in order to be able to do that, they probably thought about it in smaller Brussels sprouts. So, it's a bit like when we talk about stress. Stress can be this big, scary, dark cloud which seems completely impossible to deal with. Whereas a counsellor might say, if you break that cloud into all its component parts, maybe one by one these things are manageable and you can feel better. The last thing in this section is the 2-minute rule. And all that means is, if the job that you've got to do takes only 2 minutes, go and do it now. Seriously. Go on.
I'm gonna start counting backwards from 3. 3, 2, 1.
Did you do it? Did you go?
Nike, just do it anymore.
Jack, just take little steps. Little baby Jesus steps, okay?
You're right. I'll untie myself.
Yeah?
Call a cab.
Uh-huh.
Get in the elevator.
Yeah.
Go up to the place
Okay?
and kill the evil boss.
Yeah! You do it, Jack!
Yeah.
Yeah! Go!
So I think you're ready for part 4. The lastest parts.
This is it. The final piece of the puzzle. The evil boss. Look who it is! Agent Jack Bauer of the government organization. All alone.
So this last section was titled Parent, but maybe it should be called People. And the reason is that since making these videos about procrastination and sharing my problems with everyone else, then I've had some good advice and some conversations that made me feel a little less strange about my bad habits. And the other thing is, if you're sharing with people, maybe building a little community, and you're treating procrastination as seriously as you would do if you were talking about stress, then maybe we can help each other with these things more. Something like that. Hashtag
Disney.
Hashtag cheese. So yeah, maybe I'm not expressing this very well, but here's that famous bloke talking about the Navy SEALs again. Maybe he'll make a bit more sense.
Former Navy SEAL was asked, who makes it through the selection process to become a SEAL? And he said, I can't tell you who gets through, who makes it, but I can tell you the kind of people who don't make it. He said the star college athletes that never have been really tested to the core of their being, none of them make it through. He said the preening leaders who like to delegate everything, none of them make it through. He said the big tough guys that come in with huge muscles, covered in tattoos, who want to prove to everyone how tough they are, none of them make it through. He said some of the guys that make it through are skinny and scrawny. He said some of the guys who make it through, you will see them shivering out of fear. He said, but every single one of them who makes it through, when they're emotionally exhausted, when they're physically exhausted, some way, somehow, they're able to dig down deep inside themselves to find the energy to help the person next to them. Service, giving to another, having their back, is what makes the highest performing teams in the world. Not their strength and not their intelligence. It's their willingness to be there for each other.
It's their willingness to be there for each other. To be there for each other.
Oh my god! Jack! What did they do to you? Don't worry, buddy. I got this!
Thanks, Kaplowski.
That's what friends are for!
Now let's finish this. Pew pew pew. Pew 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 pew. Pew pew pew. Pew pew pew. Yeah!
So those are the 4 ways of attacking procrastination. Well, actually, there's another secret way for those of you that stayed this long. Mainly, and probably only, my mum. Hey mum. Perfectionism. Now, I would never have posted either of these videos because when I watched them back, especially the first one, it was slow, it was a bit clunky, and yeah, I wasn't particularly happy with all of it. But I was like, just post it anyway, stop worrying about everything being perfect. And if I keep doing that, then I'll produce more stuff, I'll learn from my mistakes more, things won't become scary to me, and eventually, hopefully, I'll do something I really like. So yeah, that's the secret. Perfectionism. Don't worry about doing every single thing perfectly.